Hey friend, it's Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. Super excited to be here with you today on our live. Today we are talking about why we need more memory care homes. This is something that in the industry, the senior living industry, there's a lot of people out there that, oh man, we need more memory care. This is a big one and something that people struggle with. And I want to share how you can be the solution to this problem. That is, I would say it's nationwide. It's something that people need help with. And when we talk about memory care, we're talking about people, individuals who suffer from things like dementia and Alzheimer's. These are issues with the mind that typically come with old age, and so we want to make sure that we are creating a way for us to really serve this population in a way that it makes sense. So I want to dive into that with you today. Thank you for being here again. My name is Brandon Gustafson. I help first-time assisted living entrepreneurs launch profitable purpose-driven businesses, creating prosperity, purpose, and peace in their lives. I am super excited to have you here with me on assisted living investing as we get into this today. If you have not already, join us on our next roadmap challenge. We actually just started one yesterday. It has been a blast. The last few days have been super fun, but it is my last one for the year. So if you missed out on it, you're going to have to wait now until January. If you're watching this live, if you're watching a replay, then hey, jump in, roadmapchallenge.com, see when the next one is. I'll tell you a little bit more about what we do in the challenge here at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. And if you need some help and some resources, go check out assistedlivinginvesting.net. I have a free underwriting calculator there. I have a bunch of other coaching programs and things like that. I have a 30-second quiz you can take. Either go to assistedlivinginvesting.net. It's the blue box that says 30-second quiz. It will take you 30 seconds. Or you can go to aliquiz.com, take the quiz, see which program that I have is the best fit for you based on where you're at and what you need and your budget. And it'll give you a result. And I'll send you some more information on that. So with that, let's hop into it. Why we need more memory care homes and how you can be a part of the solution. So as I mentioned here in the intro, when it comes to memory care, you're oftentimes dealing with a population that suffers from dementia or Alzheimer's. And what we know when we look at this, just generally, and a lot of this data is coming from official sources. I'm not going to cite everything, but I did a bunch of research before I got into this. The cases of Alzheimer's and dementia is skyrocketing. There are so many people that are suffering from this type of a disease, and it's hard to see. My grandfather does not have dementia or Alzheimer's, but he has Parkinson's, and it's something that to watch him, to watch somebody like him who has always been active his entire life, to struggle with things that are physical for him. It is, oh man, it's so frustrating. It's heartbreaking to watch him do it because he's one of those guys that was always in his wood shop. He was always working on things, just a busybody. And now that he has Parkinson's and he can't do those things, his mind is going super fast, but he can't make his fingers and his feet and things like that move the way that he needs them to. That's been frustrating it's been heartbreaking to watch him and see how frustrated he is. And dementia is different, but I think you can draw a lot of parallels there. So when you and if you have a loved one that has been serving that has been dealing with this population, that is a part of this population, type in which one down in the comments: dementia, Alzheimer's. What do you have experience with? And I'm sure you can kind of resonate with my story there with my grandpa and his Parkinson's, where it's something that it's heartbreaking to watch them and to watch somebody that has been so good at thinking and doing things throughout their entire life, and now they are confronted with this disease and they can't remember simple things. Sometimes they can't even remember who you are, and it's really hard to see somebody go through that. And that's why memory care is such an important area of the assisted living world, of the world of senior care and serving that population, because they need that help more than anybody. They really do. They need to be in a spot where they can be safe and where they can feel loved and not be taken advantage of. You hope that that doesn't happen, but realistically, it might. And when it comes to memory care, there really are far too few homes that provide that type of care. And in assisted living in general, I think there's a huge gap. I've talked about this several times in the Roadmap Challenge today. We were talking about, or yesterday, the huge gap and the silver tsunami and how all those things are coming. And so many people look at that as like a great business opportunity, and I really think it is. It's a great opportunity to get in here and serve a population that needs help. But the subset of memory care in there is so unique, and there's more regulations around it, and more people are a little standoffish when it comes to serving a memory care population, because it's like, do I have to have a locked facility? Do I need to have extra caregiving staff there? What's that going to look like? So I do want to try to break that down for you a little bit, but you also have to look at memory care. It's an opportunity. It's an incredible opportunity, right? It's also a calling because of the type of population you're going to be working with, and they will struggle, and it's hard. I've worked one of my facilities, the one in Colorado that we sold a few months ago, was a mental health focused home, not memory care. So wasn't working with dementia and Alzheimer's type residents, but it was working with residents who had bipolar and schizophrenia. And the oh man, those residents were so much fun. I loved working with them. It was so much fun to work with them and see the progress that they made. But you have to adjust the way that you kind of run your business and the way that you care for those residents. Our residents in that home were largely younger. We actually had residents that were in their 20s. Like, we had residents that were all the way up to 80. They had to be mobile because we had a lot of stairs in that home. But we had some residents that were young, and to be able to interact with them and to see their life experiences and understand where they're coming from, and the struggles that they have, and to understand that when they regress, that it's not their fault, and that we're there to help them. I think that's really important for you to understand, and that's a lot of what happens in the world of memory care. It is, sure, it's a great business opportunity. There's a huge need for it, but it's also a calling, and the way that you are going to be serving those residents. So let's talk a little bit about the opportunity. Demand is just exploding when it comes to this. There are, per the NIH, this is data from this year, 2025. There are 7.2 million Americans. So we're just going to stay in the United States here, and not even go worldwide. But there are 7.2 million Americans that are living with Alzheimer's. It's huge. Baby boomers, that population, which, by the way, by 2030, all baby boomers will be at least 65. They're shifting into this population by 2030. That's, as the recording of this, is 5 years away. So that means that this year they're all at least 60, right? If you want to do quick math. So what that means is that population is aging, and the demand, because as that population ages, is going to increase exponentially. The likelihood of somebody getting Alzheimer's and receiving that diagnosis is also going to to explode. And so there's this huge opportunity. This is what we talk about when we talk about the silver tsunami. There's already 72 million that have this disease. And in 5 years, the amount of people that are going to age into this new age group where it becomes a lot more prevalent, more likely that somebody is going to have Alzheimer's, is doubling. Like, it's growing exponentially. The amount of people that are going to need this, it's astronomical. It's just a huge number. And also, when it comes to dementia, the studies show that dementia risk is now, it now affects 1 in every 3 seniors. So this is a huge number, right? There's so many people that need this type of service. It doesn't mean that every single individual who has dementia or Alzheimer's is going to go to memory care, but it does mean a good chunk of them will. And there's a huge population that's going to need this. So the amount of existing facilities that offer memory care services it's just not enough. There's not enough of them to catch up to this. So there's a huge need. It's the same thing with assisted living. This is just like kind of a little bit of a carve out. It's something that goes a little bit deeper. And what you're going to find when you start looking at the data here, just the pure economics of how many people are going to need assisted living versus how many beds are available. Like you can see, there's this huge discrepancy. Now, I like to use what I call the 5% rule. I won't talk while I'm away from my microphone. I'm going to grab my book. So, The Profitable Assisted Living Facility. Make sure you go grab this book. In here, I have what I call the 5% rule. The 5% rule, basically, it says that 5% of a population that is, so let's say I'm looking at individuals who are over the age of 70, and I'm looking in a specific area, and there are 20,000 people that are over the age of 70, and that's the population I want to work with. If there's 20,000 people there, 5% of them are going to need assisted living services of some kind. Okay, that could be memory care, it could be something else, but 5% of them are going to need assisted living before they die. So if there's 20,000 people, 5% of that is 1,000. So there's a population here that needs assisted living of at least 1,000 people. And I think you can extrapolate this to memory care, maybe go a little bit lower. But if you were to narrow down your focus to individuals who are 70 plus and have dementia and Alzheimer's, you could take 5% of that and you could say this is how many people need this service. So when you do that, then you can take that number and say, okay, in this area, there's 20,000 people that are that age group. 1,000 of them are going to need assisted living services. How many licensed beds are there? This is how you do market research, by the way. And then you look at that and you say, oh, there's only 300 beds available in this area, and there's 1,000 people that need assisted living. There's a huge demand here, right? This is a simple way for you to quickly analyze a market and say, can I be successful here? Is there enough demand that's going to work with them? And generally, what you're going to find is the amount of facilities that exist, the amount of existing facilities, it is far below what the demand is going to dictate. So there's uh, assisted living in general, also for memory care. That's something you want to see. Now, so if you're interested in learning more about the 5% rule, type in 5 in the comments down below. I could do a video that's kind of specific on that and kind of go through the process that I look at when I am looking at using the 5% rule. Just type in 5 down below in the comments. Now, the other thing that I want to point out to you when it comes to memory care is the quality, the quality of the types of facilities that you're looking for. When it comes to assisted living, it's also not the best right now. There's a lack in quality with people who are trying to receive those services. Many homes that are getting into assisted living are not designed for memory care. Memory care has a certain extra safety aspects that you have to have in the home. Usually they have to be locked facilities in case a resident is a flight risk or will become a flight risk. And the reason they would become a flight risk is they don't know where they're at. They're confused. They don't know, and so they're going to leave. Or extra safety precautions because they're confused and so they become violent. Like these are real things that happen for people that are dealing with these types of memory care issues. So a lot of homes are actually not built today to meet the needs of a resident who has memory care issues. In addition to that, your staff also needs some extra specialized training. So when you're providing that specialized care, you need trained staff and safe environments. That's what's going to allow you to serve this population well and help them out as they're going through their struggles, which are, by the way, I've mentioned this a few times, but it's extremely frustrating for them. And it's really hard. And so you need to create an atmosphere where they can feel comfortable and can feel safe. And a lot of that is going to happen because you are training your staff and you're creating a safe environment for your residents to live and thrive in. Families, when I mean, think about this. If you have a loved one who has dementia, who has Alzheimer's, and they're struggling with that disease, those families are they're kind of at their wits' end. They don't know what to do. They've tried everything, and they're trying to figure things out. So they need a home that they can trust. They need a compassionate home that understands the needs of their loved one who's dealing with dementia, who's dealing with Alzheimer's, who needs memory care. They need somebody that can go in and they can help and they can provide that compassionate care to help them get what they need and move things along. The other thing that I think you want to be aware of in this part of the in with individuals who deal with memory care, not only is the quality there scarce, but it's expensive. For somebody that has memory care, there's this huge cost. So overall, there's $196 billion with a B in medical expenses. Okay, so when you break that down to an individual, that's $34,000 per person in medical costs per year. Okay. So that's how much it's going to cost somebody in doctor bills and receiving the type of care that they need. But it's not all the care, right? They still need to have caregiving. They need to receive that, which is on top of that 34,000 is an extra $77,000 a year. This is all data that comes from the NIH. So what you're seeing there is it's really there's not a lot of people that offer adequate care for memory care. It's needed so much and it's super expensive, which brings you to two things, right? One, families families are aware of this and they need a solution that is affordable, which is where you can step in. And also because they're already paying a ton of money, you can probably come in and undercut it just a little bit and still make a really good profit, provide adequate care and help these people while saving them money. This is something that when it comes to assisted living, people always ask like, well, how can you charge 5,000, 6, 7, 10, $15,000 a month for assisted living services? And the simple answer to that is it costs a lot of money if you do anything else in the world. If you're doing home health, if you're trying to bring other individuals in and you're trying to kind of piecemeal this together, or the time and stress cost that comes from doing this as an individual for a loved one, it is super expensive. And so you can charge these amounts because they're market rates, and the amount of care that you're providing people, the amount of peace of mind that you're providing them is all super important. You have to remember in this world, you're providing care, you're providing supervision, you're making sure they take medications on time every day. You're helping them with bathing. Yeah, you're feeding them. You have to buy all the food. You're making sure that they have a nurse on site at least for parts of the day to evaluate the resident and see what's going on. If you were to do all of those things and kind of pull it all together, it would be far more than what you would pay in assisted living or in memory care. And that's what something I think people that gets lost with a lot of people is um, you can charge these amounts because you are doing a lot of stuff for people, and if they don't do it, they're going to have to spend the money anyways. So you might as well provide that service for people, save them a little bit of money, and do well yourself and how you're building your business. So there's this huge cost, right, with memory care that people are going to just have to deal with. Now, how can you be a part of the solution? And this is something I really wanted to get into here as we've been talking through the video and through the podcast. It's I want you to recognize that just like assisted living, everyday people can do this. You can open memory care homes. There's no, just like assisted living, there's no requirement that you have this, 30 years of experience as a nurse to do this. I'm not a nurse. I don't have that experience. I do have a master's in healthcare administration. I have worked in the healthcare industry since 2013. Like I have that experience, but before I got started in 2020, I hadn't worked in senior care since I was in high school, in 2004, 2005 time frame when I worked as a CNA. I hadn't done that for 20 years prior to getting started, and I was still able to get into it. My dad, who works in the construction industry, didn't have any healthcare experience and was able to get started. And he and I were able to partner. We were able to find opportunities and we were able to move forward with it. So You don't have to be somebody that sits in there. So if you're, if you're a real estate investor and you're like, oh, this is like a really cool opportunity, I would like to get into this and research a little bit more, you can do it. You might have to create some strategic partnerships, and that doesn't mean partnership and giving away equity or anything like that. It's just like creating alignment, strategic partnerships in the way that you bring people in, hire administrators, those types of things. That's what it can mean. Maybe you're a nurse, you're a healthcare worker, and you're like, oh, I really want to figure that out, but the business part of it, I have no idea what I'm getting into. That's where, again, strategic partnerships, bringing in a nephew, bringing in a cousin, something like that that has that experience can really help you out. A friend, it does. You can you can create strategic partnerships, and those can be real partnerships where it's equity split 50-50 ownership, or it can be you're a business advisor and you're helping me along the path, or you can come join me in my next roadmap challenge and I can kind of answer your questions and help you get to a spot where you feel comfortable doing things, or get into one of my other programs. Go take my quiz, aliquiz.com. So you can do those things, but everyday people can do this. You can be the solution. You really can. What you need to do is start small. Okay. If you're brand new to this, and in our roadmap challenge, somebody today asked the question, like, would you recommend starting with a small, like buying mom and pop type facilities? Would you rather uh, go through and buy, what kind of thing would you suggest starting off? And I truly believe that starting small, if you don't have the business acumen, you've never run businesses before, I think it's valuable to start small because it gives you a little bit of a playground where you can make mistakes. And not mistakes with the care that you provide, but just mistakes in the way that you run your business. And you can learn a lot. And then once you gain more experience, then you can start expanding and doing things. Or going back to partnerships, you can create some strategic partnerships and be with people that can help you accelerate this. But starting small, one home is going to make a huge difference because of the supply demand gap that exists here. Even an extra 6, 10, 15, 20 beds is going to make a huge difference in the lives of people that need this type of care. So it's okay to start small, and even stay small if you want to do that. Those things are okay, but the more that you can get a hold of what you're doing and learn the process, the more effective you're going to be as an owner and an operator and helping other people receive the care that they need. I would also say that you should strive to use a proven system. So I have what I call the focus framework. It's my 5-phase process for launching an assisted living business or a memory care facility. It works for that as well. And focus is an acronym. So first, the F is foundation first, then optimal property selection, then capital and funding. You need to figure out the funding piece of it. You need to understand the rules and regulations, and then you need to have a strategic launch. And when you have those 5 things, you follow that process, and I would suggest that you go in order there, you're going to be a lot more successful and really be able to adjust these. I've got coaching programs that can help you out with that. Go take the quiz, aliquiz.com. I would also love to have you in the roadmap challenge. You can learn more there, roadmapchallenge.com. But if you follow a framework that is simple and easy to follow, you're going to be successful in the way that you are trying to launch your business, how to figure things out, because it can feel confusing. Like if you're out there and you're just like, man, I don't know where to get started. Type in start below. I'll send you some resources for that. But I hear it from people all the time. There's 3 big things that people don't know how to do. It's, I don't know where to get started. I I don't understand funding, or licensing is confusing. It's difficult. I don't know where to go for licensing. And all of those things are really important for you to realize you can navigate it. You can figure it out. Yes, it might seem confusing. It might seem hard, but it's also not going to be as hard as you think it is to do that. And when you have a framework and a process to follow, it makes it that much easier. Now, when you do all of those things and you start the business and you have purpose for what you're doing, you're passionate about working with the memory care population, you have a history with it, with individuals in your family, with loved ones that have dealt with Alzheimer's, have dealt with dementia, who have needed memory care. and you have this purpose and this passion around that, and then you start the business, and then you also are you're able to bring people in and help them and charge them market rates for it. You turn this process, and this is the really cool thing about business as well. I'll give you a little bit of coaching here. The really cool thing about business is we are in this to serve people, right? We're doing this because we see a need and we fill a need. To quote a kids movie, I can't remember which which one it is. See a need, fill a need. It's robots. That's what it is. Um, when you do that, and you're giving people what they are asking for, they're going to pay for it. Like, they're going to have to pay for it somewhere. As much as we'd love to do this out of the kindness of our heart and give to people and give it all free and stuff like that, the reality is we can't do that, because then we put our family and ourselves in bad situations. But when we do those things and we have purpose and we're generating a profit, now we all of a sudden are making a sustainable impact, and that can grow. That's the other cool thing about it, is you can grow, and then maybe you have a nonprofit arm, or maybe you're able to bring people in and let them stay with you for 2, 3, 10 months for free. You're able to give back more to the community because you have this new asset that is sustainable, and you can have more of an impact in the community, in the world. You can do whatever you want with that. And that is something that is really cool and rewarding about being a business owner, about running an assisted living facility. And you get to help dozens of people who really need that help. And that's something that I think is really cool, really cool. So big takeaways for you today: that memory care is not just a business. Assisted living is not just a business. It is a mission. It's something that you should work on being committed to, because of the impact and what you get to do in people's lives. You can also help meet this huge national need, and you can build freedom for yourself. You can provide that freedom to families and their loved ones who need that care, but you can also do that for yourself and create a lasting, sustainable business that has an impact in the world. And there's not a lot of businesses that you get to do that so quickly with. It's really cool. And I would also say that now is the time to do it. That silver tsunami is only growing, and you are going to benefit yourself by acting on it, taking action today. Start doing stuff today, because when you do that, that's when you're going to really be able to have the type of impact long term that you're looking to make. And if you start today versus 5 years from now, you're going to be that much further ahead. You're going to understand the rules and regulations that much more. And when you do that, it makes it easier for you to expand and have more of an impact and get involved in legislature and all of those types of things, because you start understanding what the needs really are, what people really need, and how you can implement change. This is how you do. You got to start now. If you are really passionate about it, make sure you're doing those things as quickly as you can. Okay. So with that, I talked at the start of the video about our upcoming roadmap challenge. We're in the challenge right now, and it's been super fun. We've had a lot of really great people in there. In October, we've got a really good group in here today in the challenge. And if you didn't sign up, sorry, you missed it. You're gonna have to wait till the next one. But if you go to roadmapchallenge.com, you'll see when we do the next one. It's coming up soon. So make sure you go check that out. I would love to have you there. It's a live coaching experience. It's not like courses or anything like that. It is me sitting down with you for a week and chatting through things. If you get a VIP ticket, you get an extra hour with me every single day to ask me whatever questions. They're open, just Q&A stuff. They're super fun. We go into, defining what your why is. We talk about numbers, how to do simple underwriting. We go through like finding the perfect model for you, what you're trying to find. And we also talk about how to navigate the funding and licensing issues that a lot of people have. There's a lot of concerns there. And so we help address those and help you make progress. And it's so much fun to be in that room with those people and see light bulbs going off and see people learning stuff. So I'd love to have you in an upcoming Roadmap Challenge. Go check it out, roadmapchallenge.com. It's coming up soon. Would love to have you in there. And if you haven't already, make sure you go and grab the Profitable Assisted Living book. So it's this book. I talked about the 5% rule. It's here in the book. Make sure you go grab that. And you can get that at thealibook.com. We'll also have links for you in the on YouTube for sure, and I think it's on the podcast as well to go and grab that book. So thealibook.com, you can go grab that there. But I've taken everything, my 5 phase process, put it into a book. You can learn from it and kind of make the progress that you need to make. So, are you curious about assisted living investing, but you're not sure how to get started? At Assisted Living Investing, I help first-time assisted living entrepreneurs launch profitable, purpose-driven businesses, creating prosperity, purpose, and peace in their lives. I love helping and coaching people. It's one of my favorite things to do. If you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell as well so you get notified every time we put out content like this to help you as you're trying to launch your assisted living business. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Just keep going step by step by step. And I promise you, if you do and you're consistent and persistent, you're going to be successful. Thanks for watching and have a great day.